spring break in full swing, literally. Some wild scenes already this year as college kids cooped up for the past 3 years are finally let loose. Partying on the beach, fighting with boxing gloves, and boozing it up with friends. Sounds like an awesome time. Or is it? Because a far scarier scene further down the coast in Miami Beach, where authorities have declared a state of emergency and have imposed a curfew following 2 deadly shootings over the weekend. The mayor of Miami Beach says more curfews could be on the way. Watch.
The volume of people in our city, the unruly nature of too many, and the presence of guns has created a peril that cannot go unchecked, especially in the evenings.
Lisa, you covered spring break for Fox News a couple years ago. What are your thoughts when you see those videos going from 0 to 60 with the fights on the beach?
I mean, Emily, I saw some things. I talked to these young ladies who said that they had to hide underneath a table, a dinner table, because there was a shooting and they could hear gunfire. It was one of the most interesting experiences I've had in my life. But now this is the 3rd consecutive year Miami Beach has had to do a curfew as well as a state of emergency. In 2021, which is when I covered it, I think there's something like more than 1,000 arrests. But I think one of the misconceptions of it, it's not college students. These aren't college students that are descending on Miami Beach. They're adults that are just going down to cause a ruckus. They want to drink, do drugs, do bad things. And it turns the city into chaos. And as a result, they, do this curfew and have to declare a state of emergency. But I saw some things that I might not recover from.
You'll never unsee.
I had to tell this one lady with her bathing suit, I was like, in case mom's watching, you might want to just just
cover up, Buttercup.
Right. Not suitable for work.
Girl, woman to woman, like just trying to help you out, lady.
Woman to woman.
And Kaylee, I talked to an assistant chief there, police department, and he said, they dread this. He said there's nothing funny about this. It is an absolute risk, both to the officers' lives, to the students' lives, drugs, violence, you name it, overdosing on alcohol. There's so many risk factors here. They do all they can, and they say we should stop incentivizing the businesses for spring break. If anything, we want to deter them, these hotels that give deals and whatnot, because all it does is risk everything for the community.
Yeah, the Miami Beach mayor said this morning to John Roberts, we don't want spring break, we don't ask for it, we endure it. And that's true. And I will say, as a Floridian, we endure it too, because people come from out of state. This is not the wild and crazy Florida man. This is people coming from out of state, because you see this in Texas too. The 4th most popular destination for spring break is South Padre Island, Texas, 30 miles from Mexico. So just be careful out there, guys.
And the thing, Mark, so I've been a spring breaker my whole life. I'm no stranger to those scenes, right? Although that's a little out there. And what kills me is when you look at groups like this and you're like, oh, you're ruining it. You're ruining it for all of the people that see spring break as simply a week to get away and enjoy family and friends in the sun lawfully and with a great time while not hurting other people or risking so much. So it's really hard to see to that levels those who are really ruining it for everyone else.
100%. Look, I'm a little older than you, so my last spring break was in 1989.
I saw you down there, I think.
Yeah, you recovered me. That's right. Me with the boxing gloves, right?
I was like 20.
But boy, have things changed. And I'll tell you, one thing that's changed is Joe Biden has unleashed the worst crime wave since the 1990s and the worst border crisis in American history. And so now you've got a shooting in Miami. They're facing the crime, and you've got police officers handing out Narcan to these kids because the drugs they might be doing could be laced with fentanyl. So, I mean, he makes everything worse.
Yeah,
and I wonder
that was the point that I really wanted to talk about.
On college campuses now, it's so woke. I wonder if these kids, partly they're letting loose because on campuses they're so strict, right? You can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this without getting in trouble and reported and held to such stringent standards. So it's almost as if for them, the gloves come off socially on spring break, even though those boxing gloves come on for the fights on the beach.
So I want to get back to something that Lisa said, though, and that was the average age that you kind of saw when you covered this was a little bit older than you might have thought, like not college kids necessarily, and you talking about fentanyl. So where are you going to find a concentration of fentanyl this weekend? Maybe it is where people assume that they're going to be a younger crowd and they're disguised in all sorts of ways. And after interviewing the mom who lost 2 sons who were about that age group, one had just graduated high school the day before he died from a fentanyl poisoning. His brother died at the same time. Talking to her, they are lacing fentanyl products now with horse tranquilizer, which means the Narcan won't work. And so I panic when I see this. I really do, because it makes me think, okay, they're going to take it up a notch. They're partying. Their guards are down already. They're intoxicated, whatever. Who's watching out for the people who might be slip something or take it because they want to, but not realize how deadly dangerous it really is because there's fentanyl and other stuff in it.
Lisa, let's end on a light note. What's your final message for spring breakers?
Well, I did spring break, so I can't tell you not to do it. That's what I was gonna be like, don't do it. But then I'm a hypocrite because I did it in
I'm
college.
going to say intern instead.
Yeah.
Intern for your former boss, Bush.
Be safe.
idea.
Kids,
Be safe.
don't do drugs.
All right, guys. Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.